Ladies and gentlemen, the BC and Yukon branch of the Royal Lifesaving Society of Canada is proud to welcome you to its 109th Annual Commonwealth Honour and Rescue Awards ceremony. My name is Jody Vance, and it is absolutely my pleasure to be your MC for today's ceremony. Good afternoon and welcome. Being that we are on this virtual platform today, I wish to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of the lands that we are all on, and recognize that I'm here in Vancouver in the studios of Descriptive Video Works on the traditional territory of the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Musqueam Nations. Today's ceremony will recognize and honor invaluable contributions of safety volunteers who are so dedicated to preventing water-related fatalities, and those citizens who have performed significant acts of bravery and courage to save a life in an aquatic environment. So we will finish the ceremony with a very special presentation, so make sure you're tuned in all the way to the end to the prestigious King Edward VII Cup. But it is now my pleasure to introduce distinguished guests. They will bring greetings on behalf of the BC and Yukon branch of the Lifesaving Society. We begin with the branch president, Mr. Jeffrey Holland, to bring his greetings.
Thank you, Jody. Fellow members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to begin by acknowledging that I am on the traditional territory of the Semiahmoo, Kwantlen, and Katzie First Nations. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I welcome you all as we celebrate the 109th Annual Commonwealth Honour and Rescue Awards ceremony. The year since we last met at the Hotel Vancouver has been one of turmoil and challenge for all Canadians and for the Lifesaving Society. The response to the pandemic closed aquatic facilities across BC and the Yukon. While many facilities have reopened, life-saving and lifeguarding programs are limited. Access to swim lessons and water safety education is also impacted. Many Canadians have been without access to swimming and water safety for well over a year. Now more than ever, the Society relies on the countless volunteers, many joining us today, to ensure we share water safety messages and work to keep our families and friends safe in, on, and around the water. Today is an opportunity, through the Honor Awards, to celebrate the contributions of volunteers who have put in countless hours to keep others safe and informed, and who contribute to the success of Society programs, including the Swim to Survive program, National Drowning Prevention Week, and the provision of life-saving programs. Today is also an opportunity for us to recognize the selfless and courageous acts of individuals who have risked their personal safety to assist others struggling in the water. As the Rescue Awards are presented, you will hear these stories that remind us of the vigilance that is required to keep people safe in our pools and on our waterfronts. The Lifesaving Society is a strong organization with deep roots. While the last year has been very challenging, with continued effort by people like those we celebrate today, we will continue to be the voice of drowning prevention in BC and the Yukon. Thank you all for joining us today and for your continued support of the Society and its efforts to reduce drowning.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. Indeed, the stories we're about to share are incredible, to say the least. But before we present the Honour Awards, please welcome Branch Governor Nicole Liddell to bring her greetings.
Your Honor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to begin by acknowledging that I'm on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Coast Salish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam Nations. Despite being a virtual award ceremony this year, the accomplishments of those that we are honoring today are as important as ever to recognize as the Lifesaving Society continues our efforts to reduce drowning and aquatic-related injury. We certainly need the time and effort of our loyal volunteers to help develop our programs and disseminate our safety messages to those enjoying our waterways. And we definitely need the courage and bravery shown by our Rescue Award recipients who have saved one or more lives from drowning, or better still, that the messaging prevents the need for rescues. As part of the global effort to reduce drowning, the Lifesaving Society was pleased to see the recent UN resolution on drowning prevention released in mid-April. Support from such an agency will help inform government at all levels as to the importance of this serious public health issue. Here in BC and Yukon, 2020 saw the lowest number of drownings ever, less than 40. And although it is a welcome trend, we continue to work toward eliminating the toll that drownings take on families, friends, and entire communities. Here in Canada, we are a movement that continues to contribute to the lives of all Canadians with our determination to ensure their safety around water. The Lifesaving Society's National Drowning Prevention Week runs July 18 to 24th, and for the first time this year it will be accentuated by the UN's declaration of July 25th as Drowning Prevention Day. And it's a very special honor today to acknowledge the amazing body of work that has earned our very own Dr. Steve Bierman of Nanaimo the coveted King Edward VII Cup, in recognition of his many years of drowning prevention work both here in Canada and globally. Although access to pools and consequently learn to swim and life-saving courses has been limited over the last 15 months, the Lifesaving Society is currently pursuing funding for our Swim to Survive program that teaches skills important in surviving an unexpected fall into deep water. This is one of many society programs we hope to see revived shortly in order to help keep us safe from all water-related emergencies, something that we do have some control over through prevention. I thank you all for your support of the Lifesaving Society's important work.
Thank you, Ms. Liddell. We'll now present honor awards to recognize the dedicated volunteer commitment provided to assist the Society in meeting its mandate of safety on the water. The first honor award to be presented today is the Certificate of Thanks, awarded to those volunteers who have contributed a minimum of 2 years of volunteer service to the Society. Scott Riley will now provide you with the background for our 7 very worthy recipients of this award.
Judy Ambrosius Torreo. Judy's been a dedicated and active member of the Program Advisory Group for the past 2 years and has contributed many volunteer hours towards the successful launch of the Lifesaving Society's occupational first aid equivalent programs. Pete Chen. In addition to being a member of the Program Advisory Group for the past 3 years, Pete volunteered when the branch hosted the 2017 World Conference on Drowning Prevention in Vancouver. Pete specializes in the National Lifeguard Program and was a leader in the creation of the new National Lifeguard Water Park Instructor Guide. Ruth Depew. Ruth has been a national trainer for the past 2 years and has provided program support in the Northern Vancouver Island region in that time. She's a member of the Safety Management Advisory Group and is currently volunteering her time to develop the Aquatic Managers Training Program. James Jing. James has been a devoted member of the Program Advisory Group for the past 2 years and is an active life-saving instructor. He has volunteered many hours in supporting the development of instructional resources for other life-saving instructors. Albert Coe. Albert has been a dedicated and active member of the Program Advisory Group for the past 2 years. Albert's strong attention to detail has been a great asset for many of the Program Advisory Group's projects. Craig Short. Craig has been a loyal and key member of the Program Advisory Group for the past 2 years and has committed hundreds of hours of volunteer time assisting in the production of several program resources. Craig is in the final phase of becoming a national trainer to provide support for Life-Saving Society programs in the Lower Mainland. Michelle Wilcox. Michelle has been a committed national trainer for the past 3 years and has served as a highly commendable ambassador for the Life-Saving Society in providing program support to affiliates and instructors in the Squamish-Whistler region.
Big thanks to all of those recipients, of course. Our next level of honor awards is the Service Medal, and that's recognizing those society members who have provided 4 or more years of volunteer service.
Daniel Berge. Having previously served on the Leadership Committee and the Program Advisory Group, Danny has also been a member-at-large for 6 years, as well as being a national trainer for the past 4 years. His favorite contribution is running the National Lifeguard Surf Course in Hooksum near Tofino. Anita Chevalier. Anita began as a member-at-large in 2016 and then moved on to the branch board where she now sits as president-elect. She has also served as chair of the Sport Advisory Group for the previous 2 years, showing her passion for junior lifeguard clubs and life-saving sport. Riley Huntley. Riley has been a dedicated and active member of the Program Advisory Group for the past 4 years and has committed hundreds of hours of volunteer time assisting in the production of several program resources. Riley's expertise in first aid contributed to the successful launch of our occupational first aid equivalent programs.
And now we recognize those volunteers who have provided a minimum of 8 years of service with a bar to the service medal.
Gary Lefebvre. In addition to his involvement over many years in organizing and running regional, provincial, and national lifeguard championships, Gary continues to be a key member of the competition committee. He currently provides leadership and mentoring for other trainers and serves as a national trainer representing the Lifesaving Society in the Thompson-Okanagan region. Krista Mueller. Krista has been a Lifesaving Society volunteer for many years and is an active life-saving trainer. Whenever possible, she mentors new instructors to realize their potential through her guidance and coaching. Krista joined the Leadership Committee in 2013 and the Program Advisory Group in 2018, recently stepping into the role of chair where her leadership has been essential to its continued program development work. Denise Yorif. Denise comes to us from Ontario, where she volunteered as a member of several committees, including Life-Saving Sport and Junior Lifeguard Clubs. She's been an active and contributing member of the BC and Yukon Aquatic Safety Management Advisory Group and has performed many safety audits as a volunteer. Denise represents the BC and Yukon branch on many National Life-Saving Society initiatives and projects, as well as being a strong national trainer representing the Life-Saving Society on Vancouver Island.
Certainly countless lives saved by all of those very worthy recipients. And our final branch honor award is an annual opportunity for the branch president to recognize a volunteer who has shown exceptional commitment to the society over time and specifically within the past year. And this year's recipient of the president's plaque is Riley Huntley.
Riley Huntley. Having previously received his service medal today, Riley has also been chosen to receive the 2020 President's Plaque due to his ongoing volunteer support of the branch's educational programs in writing, producing, and being the technical expert on many projects. His contribution to new and specialized lifeguard training as part of the Life-Saving Society's COVID-19 response has been outstanding, and he is a very worthy recipient of this year's President's Plaque.
Congratulations to all of those loyal volunteers who have received awards today and to the others who have continued their support of the Life-Saving Society work through a very difficult year. We all see you and we all thank you for your tireless dedication. And now, just prior to presenting our rescue awards, we are very pleased to welcome Her Honor, Janet Austin, Lieutenant Governor of British Columbia, to bring her greetings.
Hello, dear friends. I'm Janet Austin, Lieutenant Governor of British Columbia, and it is my absolute pleasure to bring greetings to the 109th Annual Commonwealth Awards for Honor and Rescue. I'm very proud to be honorary patron of the BC and Yukon branch of the Life-Saving Society, and I'm very grateful for your splendid work in teaching valuable skills such as first aid, swim to survive, and lifeguarding, making it possible for all of us to safely and fully enjoy our outdoor and indoor water activities. It's my privilege today to recognize this year's recipients of the Honor Awards and to thank all of you for your contributions to your communities and for your dedication and commitment to water safety education. Congratulations and commendations are also due to the recipients of this year's Rescue Awards. Your bravery in aquatic emergencies and rescues is a great credit to the Life-Saving Society and an enormous benefit to British Columbia and Yukon. You do us proud. To all of you being honored today, it is sometimes said that the greatest gift possible is the gift of oneself. I want to thank each one of you for giving that gift so very generously to all of us. As the representative of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, and on behalf of all British Columbians, please accept my heartfelt thanks for your truly splendid service. Haichka.
Hear, hear. Thank you, Your Honor. And we have been pleased to have her attend the previous two award ceremonies in person, but this year we virtually welcome the Commissioner of Yukon Territory, the Honorable Angelique Bernard, to bring greetings.
Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, friends, and family members. It is my great pleasure to be with you today at the 109th Annual Honor and Rescue Awards virtual ceremony from Whitehorse, Yukon, on the traditional territory of the Kwanlindon First Nation and the Taranquatchan Council. J'aimerais remercier la Société de sauvetage pour votre travail continu à prévenir la noyade et réduire les incidents associés à l'eau. I want to thank the Lifesaving Society for your ongoing work aimed at preventing drownings and reducing water-related injuries. Your work is extremely important everywhere in the world, and particularly in BC and Yukon, where we are blessed with so many wonderful lakes and rivers. Your work goes a long way to reducing the number of such tragedies. Félicitations encore une fois à tous les récipiendaires d'aujourd'hui et merci de m'avoir permis de participer à distance à la cérémonie. Congratulations again to all the award recipients today, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of your special day at a distance. Merci, thank you, Shawnee Than, Gunal Shish, Masicho.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernard. Okay, settle in, focus in. Today's rescue awards are something else. We're going to recognize members of the public who have made water-related rescues over just this past year, very often putting their own lives at risk to save that of another. The first of the silver medals for merit are awarded to Lori Taylor Capozzi and Donata Capozzi from Penticton.
It was a beautiful sunny July day on the popular channel that runs between Okanagan and Skaha Lakes near Penticton. Lori Taylor Capozzi was on the water for a family outing with her husband Donato, her son, brother, and niece. Partway down the busy channel, they came across a group of 8 males on a large inflatable, playing loud music and clearly under the influence. Suddenly, one of the men leaned back and flipped into the water. It was obvious he was a non-swimmer as he was screaming for help with his arms flailing in the air. One friend threw him a pool noodle that didn't reach him. Another jumped in to help but was also a non-swimmer. Donato exclaimed, "Let's go, they need help," as he and Lori quickly paddled their kayaks toward the men who, by now, were panicking. They told the 2 men to hold onto their kayaks, but they both went for Lori's, causing her concern that she was next to end up in the water. They were able to direct the men to wrap their legs around one kayak each as Lori and Donato paddled toward a grassy area on shore where they were able to land safely and wait to be met by their friends. The rescued men decided to climb back on the inflatable, but one of them ended up lying on his stomach, now unconscious. His friends soon brought him around with their slaps on his back. Lori and Donato then waited for the group to reach the end of the channel to help them get safely to land. The men expressed their gratitude with one of them hugging Lori and saying, "Thank you, you saved my life." Lori later commented, "If you're going to float the channel and you don't know how to swim, you should be wearing a life jacket." The Lifesaving Society also thanks Lori and Donato for their quick thinking that day, resulting in lives saved from drowning. We are pleased to present them with Silver Medals of Merit.
Let Lori and Donato's advice there really sink in. Personal flotation devices are vital for non-swimmers and swimmers alike, particularly in a recreational environment that might involve, as mentioned there, perhaps a beverage or two. This is a very, very important message and a very big lesson learned, how lucky those men were that Donato and Lori were there. And now we will recognize more heroic efforts, this of Josh Croteau, Thomas Holmes, and Jason Pearson.
Joshua Croteau, Thomas Holmes, and Jason Pearson were returning from an overnight trip at Tom's cabin on Pitt Lake last March during a storm, creating high winds and waves on the lake. They had waited for the storm to subside, but eventually decided to make the trip knowing that they were in a stable boat and that Tom was an experienced boat operator. They made it down the lake without incident, but as they entered the Pitt River at Grant Narrows, they spotted the overturned boat. From a distance, they didn't know what it was, but as they approached, they could see 2 people clinging to the outboard engine leg of the overturned boat. As they got closer, they could see a 3rd person hanging on the side of the boat but fully submerged in the water. They threw out a rope, and after a few attempts, one of the men in the water was able to grab it and pull Tom's boat up beside them. The waves were rocking both boats, and the wind was blowing, making for a very precarious situation. Adding to their difficulty, the prop of the overturned boat was now hitting against the side of Tom's boat, close to where the rescuers were standing. Tom's skill in handling the boat in such rough waters allowed them to stay in contact with the overturned boat as Josh and Jay struggled to bring the three men aboard. Josh grabbed the arms of the first man, who was holding on to the leg of the engine, allowing Josh and Jay to pull him in. It was so cold that there was ice on his clothes. They had apparently been in the water for at least 15 minutes, so hypothermia was definitely settling in. Josh and Jay now pulled the second man onto the boat, one arm each, but having to time their efforts between the boats crashing together while trying to avoid the prop of the overturned boat in their faces. Pulling the third man aboard was the most difficult, as he was in the water, so lower than the others. Josh and Jay struggled to lift him in, but were being pulled out of the boat due to the weight. The man now looked up at his rescuers, saying, "Please don't drop me." If he had slipped out of their grasp, there was a good chance he would sink out of sight and out of reach. The man was frozen solid, or as Josh later described him, like a popsicle. They yelled at Tom to help, but he was concerned that if he left the wheel, the boat could rotate sideways and capsize. Throughout the rescue, the boat was taking on more water with each wave that hit them. Josh and Jay continued to try to pull the third man aboard, but his foot was now pinned between the engine and stern. They again implored Tom to assist, so he came back to help, and the joint effort of all three finally pulled the third man to safety on the boat. The rescuers now pulled the clothes off the three men and gave them other clothes to warm them up when one of the rescued men said there were two more people, a man and a woman, who had been thrown into the water with them. He said he had seen them go underwater as they were unable to cling to the boat. After some searching, they could see nothing. And with waves crashing and three hypothermic men, the decision was made to head to the dock about 10 minutes away. Josh called 911 and provided their location, while Tom called friends who met them when they arrived and helped to get the men into the house and under blankets while waiting for emergency services to arrive. Sadly, the body of the missing woman was found on shore, with her young fiancé's body found months later. For the three rescued men, however, Josh, Tom, and Jay were in the right place and at the right time that cold day in March. And for their heroic efforts and concern for the safety of others, today we present them with silver medals for merit.
Josh, Thomas, Jason, heroes, all, saving as many as they could in extreme situations. Imagine, as that played out, as that was simply just explained with words, what it would have been like to have lived it in the moment, in the cold, in that extreme weather that can kick up at any time, particularly in our beautiful British Columbia and the Yukon. It is a cautionary tale for sure, and heroes certainly walking among us. Our next rescue award goes to Jeff Mikas out of Tofino.
It was a Sunday evening in mid-December near Tofino when John Frank Jr. was working on his tugboat when he noticed there was a rope tangled around the propeller. He put on his wetsuit, jumped overboard, and swam under the boat. As he was working beneath the hull, he hit his head on the boat and passed out. When he eventually came to, he was drifting. His boat was nowhere in sight and he couldn't see shore. After 45 minutes of swimming in the dark, the moon gave enough light for him to realize he had been swimming in the wrong direction. Despite wearing a wetsuit, the cold water was now causing his muscles to cramp as he struggled to swim to safety. After 4 hours in the water, he finally reached a rocky, ice-covered beach. Meanwhile, people from Ahousaht, a small native village on an island north of Tofino, and other native bands had begun a search. Fishing boat owner Jeff Mikas was just putting his 40-foot aluminum fishing boat back in the water when he heard that John was missing. With 20 years as a commercial fisherman in the region, he used his knowledge of the local currents and tides to determine a likely area to search. After 3 hours of searching, Jeff heard a loud moaning sound coming through his cabin window. He shone his spotlight towards shore and could see John stand up, then collapse. Once on land to assist, Jeff could see that John was severely hypothermic as he was mumbling incoherently, shivering and huddled in a fetal position. Jeff and his deckhand, David Bennett, warmed John up with blankets and body heat before he was transferred to a Coast Guard boat that had also been searching. They took John to hospital and he was later released without incident. John later commented, "If I didn't have 6 beautiful kids at home, I would have just given up. It brings a whole different perspective to life when you're given another chance." For using his local knowledge and care for others that cold December night, Jeff Mikas is awarded a silver medal for merit.
Never give up on more than one front. I'm probably like you right now, imagining those 6 children of John Frank Jr. and how much they appreciate you, Jeff. Congratulations on your medal. And our final silver medal for merit goes to Devin Waugh from Squamish.
While walking along a trestle one evening last September near Victoria's Gorge Waterway, Devin Waugh suddenly heard a woman yelling and turned to see her jump from the trestle in the cold water below. She was clearly in distress and was now going back and forth between hanging onto the piling and pushing off into open water. A passing cyclist shone his bike light down as Devin tried to talk the woman into swimming back and maintaining her hold on the piling. Being an experienced rock climber, Devin made the decision to climb 6 meters down the trestle to water level to assist the woman, clad only in a nightgown. Once at water level, he crouched on one of the crossbeams between pilings and grabbed the woman's hand while reassuring her that he was there to help and that everything would be okay. He knew that entering the water would only endanger them both. She pushed back a few times, but Devin was eventually able to convince her to swim under the bridge where he could pull her up onto the crossbeam. By now, the cyclist had called 911, and Devin stayed with the woman until a Victoria fireboat arrived to take her to a nearby dock where paramedics were waiting to treat her and take her to hospital. Devin was later commended by Victoria Police for doing an incredibly brave thing in a potentially life-threatening situation. He recalled that, "I didn't think twice about taking action. It was all instinct, and she clearly needed help." We also commend Devin for his compassion and bravery that night in Victoria and present him with a silver medal for merit.
No hesitation in jumping in to save the life of somebody clearly under duress. Devin, congratulations. Now, our next group of rescue awards are silver medals for bravery awards, and they are awarded to acknowledge rescues involving significant acts of bravery. I grabbed my Kleenex. I know what's coming. Our first recipient is young Cody Krabendam, who lives in Salmon Arm.
Last July, 7-year-old Cody Krabendam was with his family and friends at Sicamouse's Beach Park on Shuswap Lake. At around 11 a.m., Cody was on one of the docks floating in the park's flooded swim area when he saw another boy who had jumped from the dock without a life jacket get caught up in a current. The boy began to panic and call for help, so Cody, who was wearing a life jacket, leapt into the water to rescue him. The water was very cold and over 3 meters deep at that point. Cody's mom, Kim, started running across the flooded beach to the water but saw the other boy's father jump into the water, so she did not immediately jump in. The father went to the dock near them where he attempted to calm his son down but did not jump in to get him. The boy continued pulling Cody beneath the water and they were both panicked and screaming. Cody's mom figured something was preventing the man from jumping in, so she now jumped in and swam to them. Cody and his mom later spoke to the boy's mother, who said the father had a medical condition. She was amazed he actually made it to the dock. He kind of panicked and jumped in after his son, but knew he wouldn't be able to help them once he got into the water. By the time Kim got to the boys, Cody was holding the other boy, telling him not to panic and to calm down. Kim and some friends helped them to a buoy with a small wooden platform. The boys climbed onto it and stayed there until life jackets were brought from shore. Kim brought the other boy to shore first, and when she returned to get Cody, he was terrified to get back into the water to swim to shore as he thought he would drown, so his mom brought a dinghy for him. Once at shore, Cody was in shock and crying. Cody and his family met with the other boy and his family. The boy's mom knelt down to Cody and said, "Don't ever forget, you just saved his life." They all hugged and cried together and then went their separate ways. Cody was very upset for days after, concerned for what could have happened, and scared thinking about he and the other boy could have drowned. He has since been more proud of his actions than scared, although he did not want to go swimming, and especially not at that beach for a long time after. He has since been in the water at that beach and many others. He's now very concerned if he sees anyone swimming without a life jacket. After the ordeal, while sitting on the beach being comforted by his mom, Cody asked her how many lives she has saved, as he did not realize that this was a unique and special thing he had done. He gets embarrassed when the word hero comes up. Cody is normally full of energy and spirit, but has a very kind heart for people in need or hurting around him. And that day, his kind heart and caring for others helped to save another young boy's life. For that heroism, the Lifesaving Society is pleased to present a silver medal for bravery to Cody Krabbendam.
Cody, we're all very proud of you. More proud than scared. What a line that is. And so important to identify that our kids or non-swimmers of any age, frankly, should always be wearing a life jacket or a personal flotation device. It is a great lesson, and Cody, you are a hero, even if that embarrasses you just a little bit. Now, just before we present the next rescue award, I want to let you know that there is an online auction and a 50-50 draw currently running right now. And we checked earlier today and we're about 70% of the way to our goal of $10,000 here, but we've got a ways to go and we need your support. This goes in support of the Lifesaving Society's Swim to Survive program that teaches young people like Cody and the boy he's saved 3 basic skills to help them survive an unexpected fall into deep water. So please go to lifesaving.bc.ca to access the auction so you can bid on over 60 great items in support of this incredibly important program. It will be active, as I said, up until the end of the day, Wednesday, May 19th, and we thank you in advance for your support. It really is a life skill, knowing how to rescue oneself from deep water, no matter how old you are. So now we want to present our next Silver Medal for Bravery Award, and that goes to Asher Paglaro of North Vancouver.
15-year-old Asher Paglaro was surfing with a friend near Tofino last July while on a family vacation at a nearby campground. They were about 35 meters offshore when his friend began to get pulled out in a riptide and was unable to get himself back in. Asher noticed he was looking dazed and was starting to call for help through the sound of the pounding surf. Asher first thought his friend needed help getting out of the rip, then realized something else was wrong. As he tried to guide him toward shore, the riptide started to have its way with him. Asher yelled, "Get on my board! Get on my board! I know how to get us out of this!" His friend wasn't hearing him though, just staring into space and softly repeating, "Help! Help!" With the water swirling around them, Asher knew he had to do something fast. He grabbed his buddy's wetsuit and began dragging him through the water out of the riptide. Once in shallow water, Asher kept the surfboards on either side of his friend for support, but less than 10 meters from shore, he collapsed, foaming at the mouth. Asher dropped the boards and dragged him into shore, where he was met by an off-duty health professional who ran over and placed him on his side. Asher told someone to call 911 as he raced about a kilometer back to the campsite to inform the teen's father of what had happened, then ran back to the scene to make sure the paramedics got the full story. His friend was taken to the Tofino Hospital, then airlifted to Nanaimo General Hospital for tests and observation before being moved to Children's Hospital for further care. He had not experienced a seizure before, but made a full recovery. Asher later commented, "I don't think about panicking. I'll freak out after, but during the time, if someone's in danger, my brain makes the decision in half a second. That's just how I've always been." He also credits his sports background for learning to always have another player's back. Asher's mother was very proud of her son, saying, "I'm glad he had the fortitude to push through. I would expect nothing less of him to do everything he could to save his friend, and that's what he did." For using his strength of mind and body that day to save his friend from a serious situation, we are pleased today to present Asher Paglaro with the Silver Medal for Bravery.
We have to remind ourselves that that story is about a 15-year-old. Asher, thank you for being so cool under pressure and really for never thinking twice about taking care of your friend from beginning to end. That's the part that really stands out here. Not just getting to shore, but also getting help and also being there to support and make sure that your friend was well. It shows a lot about your character. Congratulations. Next, we have a pair of medal recipients, Joy Pringle from Squamish and Hannah Reinhold from Telqua.
Early May last year, Joy Pringle and Hannah Reinhold were packing up their campsite around noon at Foley Lake, ready to leave when a dirt biker rode by asking for help. He told them there had been an accident near the lake, so Joy and Hannah started running toward the scene, not knowing what kind of situation they would encounter. They met some bystanders who explained that a family was in a 5-seater ATV that had lost control and rolled 35 meters down an embankment and into the water below. The parents and a 13-year-old son were able to get themselves out of the water, but there were 2 other children still trapped in the ATV and by now submerged. Joy immediately directed Hannah to go back to the car and bring back warm clothes and blankets. She pulled the car as close as she could to the scene and brought all their clothes and blankets down to where the parents and their one son were standing, cold and wet. Although told that the others were dead, Joy thought there was a chance they were still alive, so she grabbed a belly board from a nearby fisherman and jumped into the water to try to rescue them. Her experience as a rock climber, cold water swimmer, and 10 years as a first aid attendant meant she was not about to give up easily. She dove down 5 meters to the submerged ATV, now resting on the lake bottom, and felt something but couldn't see anything. Realizing she wouldn't be able to safely move around the ATV or hold her breath long enough, and feeling the cold water now affecting her strength, Joy made the difficult decision to surface. Soon, police and firefighters arrived and were assisted by the Chilliwack Search and Rescue Team in trying, also unsuccessfully, to rescue the 2 other children. Hannah also brought some first aid supplies from their car as she and other bystanders wrapped the survivors in blankets. They eventually took the boy up the embankment and into a car to warm him up. The rest of the day, Joy was down by the water at the incident scene with the grieving parents, while Hannah was up at the road speaking with paramedics and keeping the boy company while trying to keep his spirits up. For their heroic efforts, the Lifesaving Society is pleased to present Joy Pringle and Hannah Reinhold with silver medals for bravery.
I think we all know where we were when we heard that news story for the first time, but for Hannah and Joy, it was not a news story. It was lived experience, and to the family, the now grieving family. Heroes are you, who saved those who could be saved. And Joy and Hannah, we thank you so much for your bravery. All of these rescues from the past year remind us that we are about to enter another summer of fun in and around our beautiful BC waterways, let's hope. Please think about these incidents that you're hearing about today and how quickly, how unexpectedly they can occur to anyone. You can make sure that you and your loved ones stay safe by following the Lifesaving Society's water safety messages, as well as thinking ahead and being prepared in case something does happen. We want you all to enjoy your outdoor recreation experience. And I do want to add one thing here, if I may. As a mother, as a swimmer, somebody who believes that knowing how to be safe around water is a life skill, it is vital. That's why I'm so proud to be doing this event today. I want to extend just one extra piece of this puzzle, if I may, about wearing a personal flotation device when on the water. All too often, we are so comfortable and confident with our experienced boaters who say, that's okay, I'm good at this. You don't need to wear a life jacket. Your kids don't need to pop one on. You don't want to be that mom who says, my child is not coming on that boat without a PFD or a life jacket. Be that mom. Don't risk it. Even if it feels awkward in the moment. I'm there with you. Think of me when you say, oh no, he's going to wear a life jacket. Our next Rescue Award recipient is Dennis Saulnier from Chilliwack.
On their way to pick up dinner and ice cream one evening last May, Dennis Saulnier and his 2 daughters, 2-year-old Brindley and 4-year-old Keegan, were driving along Columbia Valley Road near Cultus Lake. A vehicle tried to pass Dennis, but had to pull back in behind him to avoid an oncoming car. The driver tried again and got past Dennis, but cut in too close, causing Dennis to swerve to his right to avoid him and catch gravel on the shoulder. They began to spin, so he tried to steer left and apply the gas, which caused the truck to lurch forward uncontrollably, and the next thing he saw was green lake water through his windshield. He quickly unbuckled his seatbelt, turned to his daughters in the back seat and told them to relax as he unfastened their car seat straps. Now waist deep in water, Dennis realized the truck was sinking fast. He looked up to see light through the sunroof and drove his fist through it, causing such a pressure change that the door seals broke, windows shattered, and water began to gush into the cab. He closed his eyes and held onto the driver and passenger seats to prevent getting sucked out of the sunroof. When he opened his eyes a second later, all he could see was the cloudy green lake water. The girls were gone. He reached out but felt nothing. Realizing he was running out of air, he tried to swim through the sunroof, but his leg got caught, so he reached down to untangle himself and slipped through the hole in the sunroof. When he broke the surface, there was debris around, but he saw no splashing and heard no crying. Thinking they may be trapped in the cab of the truck, he took a breath and dove down, spotting Brindley's ponytail about 3 meters in front of him. He quickly swam to her, grabbed her, and brought her to the surface where she clung to him, crying, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." Dennis now scanned the water for Keegan, saw a shape in the distance, and as he got closer could see a pair of eyes. It was Keegan. He was about 2 meters away from her when she submerged underwater with eyes wide open with terror. Dennis was able to grab her and pull her to the surface. In struggling to get to shore, he tucked Brindley under his right arm and started throwing Keegan toward the shore a few feet at a time until he felt exhausted. By now, a crowd had gathered on the shore, and as Dennis approached, one man grabbed Keegan and carried her to shore, where she vomited. Emergency services soon arrived and treated all three before taking them to hospital. The driver who cut Dennis off was later arrested at a roadblock for driving under the influence and failing to remain at the scene of a collision. Dennis and his girls recovered well physically, but the trauma of the incident will be with them for the rest of their lives. The girls were scared to get into a car for some time and would often reenact underwater rescues with their dolls. Dennis later said, "I used every single one of my angels that day, but I still get to hold my girls, and nothing is worth more than that." For his strength and bravery in saving his 2 daughters that day, Dennis Saulnier is today presented with a silver medal for bravery.
Look at that beautiful family. Indeed, all of your angels, Dennis. Congratulations on your bravery award. Our next silver medal for bravery goes posthumously to Kashif Sheikh.
In thinking he might move his family from Surrey to Kelowna, Kashif Sheikh, a realtor from Surrey, had taken his wife and 4 children for a Father's Day outing last June to Mill Creek near Kelowna. They were all standing on a rock near a waterfall taking a photo when 13-year-old Amna slipped and fell into the creek. With the water above her head and a strong undercurrent, she was struggling to stay afloat. The turbulence created by the waterfall blurred her vision and made everything that she tried to grasp slippery. Kashif quickly jumped in after her, but he too was struggling in the deep water against the undercurrent. Using all the strength he could muster, Kashif made several attempts to push Amna to safety and finally was able to propel her up onto the rocks. By this time, Kashif had inhaled so much water and was exhausted from his efforts to save Amna that he was now submerging underwater. His 6-year-old son was yelling, "Swim, Dad, swim," from the shore, but to no avail. Eventually, bystanders were able to pull Kashif from the water and started CPR. First responders took over once they arrived, but their efforts were unsuccessful, and Kashif did not survive. Both Kashif and Amna had previously taken swimming lessons and loved to swim, but the water conditions that day were too treacherous. Kashif Sheikh was working hard to leave a legacy for his children. He will always be a hero to his family and friends as he gave his life trying to save his daughter. Today, his family sadly accepts a posthumous silver medal for bravery on his behalf.
Kashif Sheikh. A very sad story that again offers a reminder of how quickly a pleasant outing, not even one really involving water or water safety, one might think, but how quickly it can turn to tragedy. To save one life in his name would be to honor him. And our final Silver Medals for Bravery award goes to Chad Taylor of Naramata and Megan Thompson from Penticton.
Last June, Megan Thompson and her two daughters, aged 8 and 11, were enjoying a day at Manitou Park on Okanagan Lake near Naramata. The girls were playing in the water when they suddenly noticed a small body nearby floating face down. The oldest girl went running to the shore, yelling, "Mom, I think that baby needs help." Megan ran as fast as she could to the shore, into waist-deep water, and picked the limp, waterlogged, and heavy body out of the water. It was an 18-month-old boy whose face was a pale white and his lips a bright purple. She turned to run back to shore, screaming as loud as she could for help. Chad Taylor, a local firefighter and first aid instructor, happened to be nearby and came running to assist. Megan passed the boy to him and he laid him down on the sand, immediately looking for a pulse and breathing, but found neither, so he began CPR. A bystander had called 911 while Megan was yelling to try to locate the child's mother, who eventually came frantically running toward them. Chad's CPR was able to bring the boy back to consciousness as he coughed, vomited, and began to regain his normal color. Chad and Megan stayed with the boy and his mother until emergency services arrived to rush the boy to hospital, where he made a full recovery. Megan later commented that she hopes this incident serves as a reminder to parents to be vigilant with their kids, educate them about water safety, and maybe take some first aid and CPR training, just as she did with a few friends after the incident. "You don't ever think that kid could be your kid," she said. For saving a young life from drowning that day, we present Silver Medals for Bravery to Chad Taylor and Megan Thompson.
Boy, Chad and Megan, an unbelievable opportunity to do something that will never be forgotten, and certainly worthy of Bravery Award here on this special day. Thank you for stepping in and saving a life. Now, each year, the George A. Brown Memorial Award is given to a youth under 13 years of age who has shown outstanding courage and bravery in a water rescue. Now, this award comes with a $500 scholarship to assist the recipient in pursuing training in life-saving and lifeguarding. Well, today's recipient is Cody Crabendam. He was the brave boy who made most of us cry with the story of how he jumped into Shuswap Lake to save another boy who was in trouble. So congratulations to you, Cody. And our final rescue award today is the Governor's Gold Award, and that is chosen by the branch governor for the most heroic rescue of the year. This year's recipient of the Governor's Gold Medal for Bravery is Dennis Saunier. Now, you heard his story just a few moments ago, the dad who saved his two daughters after his truck veered into Cultus Lake after being cut off. So well done, Dennis. And our final award of the day is a very special one that is presented only once every 2 years to a worthy recipient within Commonwealth countries who has provided exponential service over many years to the global health issue of drowning prevention. And we are very pleased today to make the Canadian presentation of the King Edward VII Cup to a resident of Nanaimo, BC, and our very own Dr. Steve Bierman.
Learning to swim as a young man, like so many of us did, Steve Bierman probably wasn't thinking about the profound impact his childhood rite of passage would have on his future. As a naturally gifted athlete, coupled with exceptional training and encouragement, then summer spent lifeguarding. Steve's future as a lifelong advocate in the field of life-saving was starting to take shape.
Steve was already a shining light and thought leader when I joined the RLSSC Executive Board in 1983. As he did then, he has always encouraged each of us who have had the privilege of working with him to put values at the core of our decisions, to think outside the box, look for partners, to be kind, gentle, and thoughtful.
Inspired by passionate and devoted instructors like his own mother and later Robert Mackey, he brought his knowledge of CPR, life-saving techniques, along with mental and physical conditioning to a small community pool in Powell River. Steve was on his way to not only becoming a doctor of rehabilitation medicine, but a devoted member of the Royal Lifesaving Society. Thanks to time spent in the company of leading authorities in all areas of lifesaving from all parts of the globe, Steve was becoming, in his own right, an expert in leadership, training, and program development for the RLSS. His passion for the science of life-saving and resuscitation was supported by many mentors who often became friends.
I met Dr. Steve Bierman in 1986 when Vancouver was hosting a World Expo and Steve was hosting the Canadian Lifeguard Championships and the World Life-Saving Championships for the first time under the banner Rescue 86. Little did I know that I was working with Canada's future international leader in all facets of drowning prevention, and the archaeologist that would teach my children how to find dinosaur bones.
As a new family doctor, Steve and his wife Gail settled in Nanaimo, where they raised 3 children, all accomplished swimmers.
My dad inspired my brother, sister, and I to be well-rounded adults who are willing to try many different things. My mom and dad both facilitated our love for water at a young age, and they encouraged us to take swimming lessons, join our local swim club, and become lifeguards, instructors, managers, and leaders.
During their childhood, Steve served as president of the Nanaimo White Rapids Swim Club and led the charge to save the community pool from demolition. It remains open to competitive and recreational swimmers to this day.
I met Steve Bierman when he was a fresh-faced physician coming to this town decades ago. He became very quickly a real leader in changing the practice of medicine in this community. As mayor of the city of Nanaimo, I just want to offer very sincere congratulations on behalf of the entire community. We're proud of him, we're proud of what he's done, and he has given his all to this city in a myriad of ways that I couldn't possibly describe.
A lifelong member of the Royal Lifesaving Society, Dr. Bierman has served the society wearing numerous hats, currently sitting as a member of the RLSS Board of Trustees. Steve has been bestowed with several Commonwealth Awards to recognize his drowning prevention work. As a family physician for more than 32 years, Steve still found time to serve as co-chair of the Canadian Drowning Prevention Coalition. This national NGO provides leadership to the Canadian Drowning Prevention Plan. In addition, he is an advisor to the WHO Global Report on Drowning and Implementation Manual.
Steve Bierman is just, he's an absolute diamond of a person in that field. He is one of the sort of top people that I think of when I think of the colleagues that I need to turn to in order to receive support for the work that I'm doing.
Most recently, he's been an advisor to the team working on the United Nations Resolution on Drowning Prevention, released just a few weeks ago.
I remember the sheer elation being in the room in Berlin when Steve was elected as president. Certainly it was a feeling of great hope, great pride, and then watching him on another stage, the stage at the Drowning Prevention Conference in Vietnam, alongside colleagues from Bangladesh and other colleagues from the Alliance for Safe Children, celebrating what was our opportunity to position drowning on that global stage.
With his extraordinary contribution to so many people and projects over the years, some have even speculated that he is superhuman.
All those accomplishments made me wonder, does Steve Bierman actually have superpowers? I undertook some empirical, but non-statistical, mostly interpretive research to answer this question. My conclusion? There are 3 Bierman superpowers that add together to generate the inspirational Steve Bierman algorithm: focus, global framing, and fun.
In 2012, Dr. Bierman received a Grand Challenges Canada grant for the Bangladesh Ankle and Swim Safe Child Drowning Prevention Research Project. This project extended the knowledge in delivery of child drowning prevention interventions in high-risk rural Bangladesh communities. Now, there are similar interventional and research projects in Uganda, Philippines, and Tanzania. Over many decades, Steve has been a popular speaker at local and international conferences, but also finds time to relax and have some fun. He is loved for his calm, rational approach to work and life, while contributing so much to so many.
One of Steve's greatest assets, for those who are watching, is just how cool, calm and collected he is. He makes those of us who wear a passion on our sleeve grateful for his calming influence.
Steve has mentored and inspired countless young people over the years.
It's been an absolute honor to have Steve as a mentor for myself, both in my early medical career as well as my involvement in both drowning prevention and the Lifesaving Society locally and around the world.
Dr. Bierman's academic achievements speak for themselves, but where he has really been a mentor and I think a guiding light for so many, myself included, is through his humanity and his humanistic approach to both medicine, drowning prevention, and development work.
Steve has been both an inspiration and teacher to me in my career in global drowning prevention. One of the most important things that he's taught me is to focus on opportunities for impact.
Steve says the most important people in his life are his family and friends. As with any successful person, Steve has the great support of his wife Gail and many others behind him.
I was fortunate to be able to go to Bangladesh with Steve and see the implementation in action and how eager the communities were to participate in this because they knew it would save the lives of their children.
After 100 years, he would like to be remembered as a person who tried to assist the reduction of drowning through science and educational collaboration. A noble goal that is being recognized here today with the presentation of the prestigious King Edward VII Cup. Congratulations, Dr. Steve Bierman, from your many friends and colleagues around the world. We all look forward to continuing our drowning prevention work with you for many, many more years.
Obrigado por fazer a diferença, nos motivar e acreditar que podemos mudar o cenário dos afogamentos. Steve, você não é um canadense. Você é um homem do mundo e pelo mundo.
And congratulations on a well-earned recognition from the Royal Lifesaving Society family.
Congratulations, Steve.
All the best from myself and from the World Health Organization more broadly.
Congratulations, and I'm very proud to have worked with you and to see you receive this award. Thank you.
Congratulations, Steve.
Congratulations, Steve.
Enjoy this event. Enjoy the day. Thank you, Steve. Thank you all.
Thanks, Steve, for all you do and all you are, and thanks for being a great friend.
Thank you for sharing your journey, Steve, and for enriching mine.
Thank you, Steve. Congratulations.
And we add our heartfelt congratulations to you, Dr. Bierman, for your tireless drowning prevention work over so many years, as well as your leadership and inspiration, obviously, to so many others. Now, last year we saw less than 50 drownings in BC and the Yukon. The good news is that's a record low, but we are working toward zero. So we thank our rescuers today for their bravery in keeping that number lower and congratulate all of our award recipients today. I would like to thank our narrator, Scott Riley. What a beautiful job for all the assistants today, as well as acknowledging the donation of staff in studio from Descriptive Video Works and their founder, Diane Johnson, my dear friend. A lot of people behind the scenes here making it all happen under these unusual circumstances. Much appreciation also going to Angela Clark and Jamie Murray for their work on the Steve Bierman tribute that you just saw. Our audiovisual team today was Kent Stephanie of DV Works, alongside Dave Page, Catherine Grant, and Andy Shingleton of Leading Edge Audio Visual. Bunch of pros. Now, don't forget to check out that online auction and the 50/50 draw. You go to lifesaving.bc.ca. That's lifesaving.bc.ca. I'm Jody Vance. Thank you so much for being here today, and please stay safe around the water.